The strange story of the rivals to Marilyn Monroe, and the girls who followed and cherished her as an idol, who all died early deaths. Hi guys, welcome to another video of Historically. In today's video we did age progression of the famous Marilyn Monroe girls. On the left you will see how they looked like, and on the right you will see the age progressed version, and how they could have looked like if they'd lived longer. Everyone knows the story of Marilyn Monroe, the beautiful, talented, and ultimately tragic actress who died in 1962 at the early age of 36. Less well known are the stories of the rivals to Marilyn, the actresses who were groomed to be her rivals/successors, sometimes by her own studio, 20th Century Fox, in order to keep the rebellious Monroe in line. By now they have been largely forgotten. But in the 50s they were beautiful, blonde, and they shone brightly through Hollywood. They also died young, as did later followers of Marilyn Monroe Myth. They are all here, in the celebration of the Marilyn Monroe Girls. Joanne Lansing. She was a beautiful blonde contemporary of Marilyn Monroe in the 1950s. She started out like Monroe, as a model, but then she moved on to bits parts in movies, like the classic Singin' in the Rain, and the Lana Turner vehicle, The Merry Widow. She had a larger role in A Hole in the Head with Frank Sinatra, with whom it was rumored she had an affair with. Never a leading lady, she moved into television in the 1960s, with a role for she is best remembered, that of Gladys Flatt in the Beverly Hillbillies. A devout Mormon, Joanne Lansing died from breast cancer in 1973, at the tragically young age of 43. Cleo Moore, a striking blonde with hair and makeup similar to Monroe. Cleo Moore was best known for playing bad girls on malls in films like Nicholas Ray on Dangerous Ground, 1951. After her last film, Hit and Run in 1957, Cleo Moore quit acting and moved into the real estate business. She died in her sleep in the mid-1970s at the age of 44. She has recently begun a cult following due to her bad girl persona. Barbara Nichols. Like Marilyn Monroe, the bubbly Nichols started out as a cheesecake model in the early 1950s. She moved on to bigger supporting roles in a host of quality movies in the mid-50s. These included roles in Pal Joy with Frank Sinatra, The Pajama Game with Doris Day, and The Sweet Smell of Success, all in 1957. Never a leading star, she also had a host of TV roles in the 1960s. She died from a liver ailment in 1976 at the age of 46. Jayne Mansfield. The best known of Marilyn's 1950s blonde rivals, Jayne Mansfield was born Vera Jane Palmer as a brunette. She always wanted to be a star, and first found fame on Broadway as Rita Marlowe in the hit comedy Will Success Spoil Rock Hunter? A Life magazine cover followed, and Hollywood soon beaconed. She was an instant hit in the rock and roll classic The Girl Can't Help It, and the film version of Rock Hunter. Yet, within a year, she was playing second fiddle to the model Susie Parker in Kiss Them For Me in 1957, and was then sent out to Britain to film The Sheriff of Fractured Jaw in 1958. The onset of the less curve-friendly 1960s and the death of her erstwhile rival Monroe sounded the death knell for Jayne Mansfield's career. She made the softcore film Promises, Promises in 1963, and was thence reduced to Z-list movies and nightclub appearances. She was en route from one of those performances that Jayne Mansfield was killed in a car crash in 1967. She was only 36 years old. Her manager/lover, Sam Brody, was also killed, but her children who were in the back seat, they all survived. Her youngest daughter is the actress Mariska Hargitay. Kaye Kent was the UK's most successful and famous Marilyn Monroe lookalike in the 1980s. She featured in a host of pop videos, movie auctions, TV shows, and magazines during the 1980s. She also famously starred in a commercial for Holston Pills with comedian Griff Rhys-Jones. Kaye Kent also posed nude for Penthouse while dressed as Monroe, whom she idolized. In 1989, after a breakup with her boyfriend, Kaye Kent took her own life. She was found nude, sprawled on her bed after taking an overdose, dying in the same lonely death that attributed to Marilyn Monroe. Anna Nicole Smith was a famous model, actress, and reality TV star who always wanted to be the next Marilyn Monroe. She first found fame as a Marilyn-esque Playboy model with a stunning, larger-than-life persona. She was often found modeling in Marilyn-style 7-year-itch white dress and was the star of a Marilyn Monroe ad campaign for Guess Jeans. But Anna courted controversy. She became notorious after her marriage to an 89-year-old millionaire and the subsequent court proceedings that followed his death. Tragedy followed when her 20-year-old son Daniel died from a suspected drug overdose whilst visiting his mother, who was hospitalized following the birth of a baby girl. Anna Nicole followed her son to an early grave a few months later. She died from an overdose of prescription drugs at the early age of 39. Stephanie Lawrence was a beautiful and talented West End star. She had starred in Evita as Ava Perón and was the natural choice to play the role of Marilyn Monroe in the 1983 production Marilyn the Musical. She followed this with a starring role in Starlight Express, but Lawrence was never afforded the stardom that Elaine Paige and Martin Webb had. She was found dead in 2000 at the age of 50. They were all blonde, beautiful, and talented. They all died untimely deaths, but unlike the immortal Marilyn, some of the Marilyn Monroe girls, both rivals and followers, have been sadly forgotten. Maybe it's time they were reevaluated and found their own place in the sun. That's all we had for today. Have a nice one.